Hi, everybody. This is Tommy Lasorda. Listen to The Sandlot, the best thing that could happen to you.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Are you crying?
It's a part of our past, Ray.
There's no crying.
It reminds us of all that once was good.
There's no crying in baseball.
Just a bit outside.
Baseball will be very, very good to me.
It's a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
Personally, I think we got hosed on that.
The Sandlot Radio Network is on the air. And now, starting pitcher for the Sandlot, former pro player and Major League scout, Ted Howard.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
It's Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, protecting young athletes one arm at a time. The Sandlot is also sponsored by Slide MVP, Tool Shed, Champ Trove, Max Graphics LA, South Bay Credit Union, Fairway Underwriters, Insight Performance Group, and Pro Slide. The Sandlot can be heard right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, also streamed live on kvta.com. Replays of all Sandlot Radio shows are published on all the major podcast platforms, including SiriusXM Radio MLB Network, Spotify, SoundCloud, Simplecast, Apple Music, Pandora, YouTube, and our newest platform, Rumble. Also, check out Sandlot Radio Show on Instagram and Sandlot Radio Network on Facebook for video content with the Major League players. Please explore SandlotRadioNetwork.com for historical reels and images, along with links to our outstanding partners. Last week on the Sandlot, we had a great lineup, including first ballot Hall of Fame inductee, current television color man for the Orioles, Jim Palmer, plus all-star outfielder for the Orioles, who used to be an Angel, Taylor Ward, and clubhouse funny guy and relief pitcher for the Angels, Harvard University graduate, Brett Suter. This week on the Sandlot, we have a former professional player who has been the head coach at Colorado Mesa for 28 years, Coach Chris Hanks, plus his most accomplished player, MLB All-Star and three-time World Series champion, Sergio Romo. We're going to start you off with who's hot and who's not with our resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright.
Thank you, Tad. Yeah, before I run down the standings, just got to start off with Justin Verlander announced earlier this week that he is retiring at the end of the 2026 season. Tad, he's one of the all-time pitchers of his generation. He's a three-time Cy Young Award winner, 266 career wins, 8th on the all-time strikeout list. He's one of the only pitchers to win an MVP. He did that in 2011, 10 All-Star teams, 2006 Rookie of the Year. He is one of the all-time great pitchers. And Tad, got to start with the American League, and had to start out with the American League East, where my Tampa Bay Rays still have a 4-game lead over the New York Yankees. They just had a 2-2 split earlier this week. Junior Caminero continuing his home run streak. He has 14 home runs in his last 15 games. But the Yankees did get to Drew Rasmussen. He only had a .89 ERA in his career against the Yankees, but they lit him up for 6 runs. The Blue Jays and the Red Sox still far away, 11 games back. Orioles 12.5 back. And Tad, let's go to the AL Central, where, don't look now, but the Chicago White Sox are actually having a pretty solid season. They are 2 games above 500. They are 47-45, tied with the Cleveland Guardians, who are 48-46, but they do have a 1-game advantage. The Minnesota Twins are 2 back, Detroit Tigers 4.5 back, and the Royals, despite Bobby Witt Jr. having a solid season, they are 10 back. And Tad, let's go to the AL West, where it's kind of just the battle of the mid, as the kids would say, where the Texas Rangers are in first place by half a game. They are 47-46. The Seattle Mariners, 47-47. They've been creeping back up. And Tad, that is with a really regressed year of the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, who only has 9 home runs a little over halfway into the season and only hitting 168. So if he starts to heat up, maybe the Mariners can catch up to the Rangers. Got the Houston Astros. They're creeping a little bit. They're 46-49. The A's, 41-52. And Tad, the team that I abandoned, the lowly Los Angeles Angels, who I said before the season would be the worst team in the league. Currently, they are at 37-57, 10.5 games back. Let's shift over to the National League. The Atlanta Braves still have a nice little lead. In the NL East, they are 54-38, 3 games ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies. And the Miami Marlins, they are both deadlocked at 52-42. Nationals 7 games back. And the Mets, despite that payroll, are 40 and 54, 15 games back. NL Central, Milwaukee Brewers have a great little lead on the Chicago Cubs. They are 59 and 34. Cubs 52 and 41, 7 games back. Pete Crow Armstrong, I'm sure I'll get to him, having a great year. St. Louis Cardinals are 10 and a half back. Pirates 12 and a half back. 47-47 for the Pirates. I think their fans will take it for now. And the NL West, what is there to say? Dodgers 61 and 33, 14 and a half games ahead of the Diamondbacks and the Padres, who are 46 and 47, and the San Francisco Giants and the Rockies are way out of there, 21 and a half games back and 23 and a half games back for Colorado. And Tad, that's been the standings a little over halfway into the 2026 season.
Thanks, Nick, for giving us a rundown on the teams. Talk about some of the players that are hot, and then we'll go look at the ones that are not. There's 10 guys right now in all of Major League Baseball that are hitting 300. Starting with Otto Lopez from Miami, 345. Yandy Diaz from Tampa Bay at 326. Luis Arraez, who's won 3 batting titles already, is at 324. And knowing the way that guy hits, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins his 4th this year. Nick Gonzalez from Pittsburgh is hitting 310. Yordan Alvarez is hitting 310, but also has 29 home runs and 67 RBIs. So he is leading the American League in several categories, and he has a chance to win a possible Triple Crown. It's a tough deal, but he has that chance. Jung-Ho Lee from San Francisco is hitting 308. Troy Johnston, who we've had on the show, is hitting 307, and he hit 300 last year, so this is a legitimate 300 hitter. Brandon Marsh having a great season at 305, also has 15 home runs. Michael Harris from Atlanta is hitting 304. Xavier Edwards from Miami, 303. Josh Young is the last guy. He's number 12, hitting 12th in the league, hitting 297. So the top 10 goes down to 303 in all of Major League Baseball. And just to give you an idea, guys used to win the batting title, hit 340. And that's where Lopez is now. But we're 90 to 92 games in, a little over halfway. Guys tend to drop a batting average towards the end of the season. As you pile on at-bats, it gets harder and harder. And we'll probably see it get down to about 6 or 7 guys hitting 300 in all of Major League Baseball this season. And we'll go in a little more detail about what that means. But we're going to drop all the way down to the bottom of the barrel, because this is the part that's really hard to understand. There's guys that are everyday Major League players, and I'm going to give you an idea who some of them are that are not even hitting 200. So the lowest guys in the league, number 1 lowest hitter in all of Major League Baseball right now with 324 at-bats, so it's a legitimate amount of at-bats, is Manny Machado with a 188 batting average. He has struck out 85 times, and his on-base is only 282. He has hit 18 home runs and has driven in 51, so he gets some timely hits, and he's still producing with some power, but 188, that's terrible. Matt McClain at 190 for Cincinnati, playing second base. That's not looking very good. Jacob Marcy from the Marlins is a 191 hitter through 314 at-bats. And Jared Duran from Boston, he had a really good year last year. It's only hitting 198. Ezekiel Tovar from Colorado, their shortstop, is only at 204, and he had a good year last year. And he's down on power numbers as well. Cedric Mullins, it's a surprise, is only hitting 204. Austin Riley, 207. He's already got 111 strikeouts, and Duran's got 110, which to me is nuts. Salvador Perez, who usually hits quite a bit better than 209. And then we're going to finish with Dansby Swanson, rounds out our top 10 at 212. He's not having the greatest year, but he does have 16 home runs and 58 RBI. So he's been producing power numbers wise, and I think he's still playing really good defense. So you might see Dansby turned around. I know he's gotten hot in the last few weeks. Let's look at the power numbers for some guys, because through 90 games, we got some guys that are on a tear. Kyle Schwarber has hit 32 homers in 334 at-bats. So just to give you an idea, and he's walking a lot more, 58 walks. He might end up with more than 100 this year. But 137 strikeouts is a nutty number to me. But man, when he puts one on the barrel, it goes, and it's amazing the way how easy it looks. And then Yordan Alvarez again with 29 home runs and 67 RBI. And he's in the American League. So he does have a chance for a Triple Crown, hitting 310. Ben Rice has got 28 homers. Hunter Goodman for the Rockies, their catcher's got 27. Junior Camarillo, who's just gone off lately, I think he had 11 in 11 games, has got 27 home runs. Byron Buxton, 25. Matt Olson, 25. James Wood, 25 for the Washington Nationals. And then Colson Montgomery, a shortstop for the White Sox, has got 23 home runs and 53 RBI. And then we'll finish with Juan Soto, who's got 21 and 50 as well. So those are some power guys, some of the power numbers that are happening right now. And if we jump over to pitching, we're going to talk about earned run average leaders first. The big surprise for me is that quality starts, not too many guys with great numbers of quality starts, but Sandy Alcantara has 13 of them. But he's got a 4.0 ERA, and he's 10-4. Christopher Sanchez, 10-4 with 13 quality starts out of 19. And, of course, Yamamoto for the Dodgers, 16 starts. 13 of them have been very quality starts. Michael Walker, 19 starts, 12 of them quality. And Ohtani, 14 starts, 12 quality. And a 1.79 ERA, which is just behind Jacob Mizorowski for the Milwaukee Brewers, who has a 1.61 ERA, and he's 10-1. And has struck out 167 batters through 111 innings and only walked 27. So he's throwing hard with command. Sonny Gray's doing really well, 10-1 with the 2.61. And Eduardo Rodriguez is also got a 2.25 ERA and 7-3. And of course, Justin Roboliski for the Dodgers, who's been on the Sandlot, 10-2 with a 2.69, having an unbelievable season. And in the American League, Cam Schlittler has a 9-5 record for the Yanks and 131 strikeouts in 112 innings, so he's doing really well. Zach Williams getting stiffed on the All-Star game. He's 9-1 with a 2.2 ERA, didn't make the All-Star game. He's only given up 59 hits in 87 innings. It's outstanding, 98 strikeouts and only 20 walks. So he's having a great year, and he's not going to the All-Star game because of some new rules that have been implemented very recently, and we'll talk about that another time and rule changes. But bottom of the barrel in terms of ERAs, guys that have been consistently not doing well most of the season. And some of them are surprised because one of these guys won a Cy Young, and Zach Gallen. Right now, Zach Gallen has the worst ERA of anyone pitching in the major leagues on a regular basis. And Zach Gallen's got a 6.34 ERA, and he's 3-9 and giving up a lot of hits and not striking many guys out. Jeffrey Springs from the A's got a 6.08 ERA. Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh, a 5.15. Colin Ray for the Cubs, 4.75. Mackenzie Gore, 4.72. Freddie Peralta with a 4.68 with a 5.7 record. Seth Lugo with a 4.56. I'm surprised because he had a really good year last year. Slade Ciccone has a 4.55 ERA. And surprisingly, Kevin Guzman, who's 4.8 for the Blue Jays, has got a 4.32 ERA. And again, giving up more hits than normal. He's still striking some guys out, but he's had some tough luck. So Shoto Imanaga, who was really good with the Cubs last year, is 5-7 with a 4.28. So these are guys that have in the past been pretty good, but right now there's some struggles going on with pitchers. Real quick, you can't forget about the relievers. We have guys with as many as 27 saves through 90 games. That's Cade Smith with 27 for Cleveland. Brian Bake for Tampa Bay. It's not a surprise that they got a guy. He has a 1.73 ERA and has 25 saves. So he's been pretty much unhittable. And then there's always Mason Miller, who's got 23 saves, and he's striking out 16 guys per 9 innings, which is incredible. He's the league is hitting a mere 0.8 against him, and that 16.5 Ks per 9 innings is just insane. And he's not walking anybody. He's got 13 Ks and 69 strikeouts in just 37 innings. So this is a guy who throws 103 miles an hour, comes in and throws a lot of strikes, and has been dominating. He's got an 0.96 ERA. What's crazy too is that Riley O'Brien has got 22 saves, and so does Joan Duran for the Phillies. And then Chapman's got 19 for the Red Sox, and they're not even winning. So he's still a very quality guy. So look for someone to pick him up at the trade deadline, because he's still going to help a team down the stretch in big innings, probably as a setup. But man, having that guy as a setup is a good thing. And last thing I want to talk about with the pitching, just talk about who's been winning the most. Because believe it or not, there's a guy for the Brewers who's got 12 wins. He's pitched in 43 games, which means he's a reliever. He's got a 3.19 ERA, and he's got 12 wins. Our 20-game winner this year could very well be Aaron Ashby from Milwaukee. He's got 12 wins as a reliever. And that's just how the game goes. Like, a reliever to get a win is not normal so much, but to have 12 through 90 games is unbelievable. So right now, the major league leader in wins is Aaron Ashby a reliever with 12 wins. And then Chase Burns, a rookie for the Cincinnati Reds, has a 2.54 ERA, and he's 11-1. Only given up 77 hits in 102 innings, and he's punched out 118. This guy has a huge upside. As long as they can keep this guy healthy, Cincinnati's going to be very strong in their rotation in years to come. Sonny Gray's been unreal. He's got 10 wins. Foster Griffin, 10. Sandy Alcantara from Miami's got 10. Christopher Sanchez, always doing really well with his control and command and dealing on the mound, 10-4. And then Andre Palante for St. Louis has got 17 starts, and he's 10-5. So he's coming up with a decision in pretty much every one of his starts. Gavin Williams has got 10 wins. Justin Rubleski's got 10. And so does Jacob Misarowski. I'd say Jacob is in the lead for the American League for winning the Cy Young. Young Cam Schlittler for the Yankees at 9-5 with a 2.01 ERA is probably the contender to be the American League Cy Young Award winner. Keeping in mind, this is not a small sample size, but it is something that gives us an idea how far these guys have come through just over halfway through the season and who's doing well, who's hot, and who's not. Don't go away. We have 3-time World Series champion with the San Francisco Giants during their unbelievable run. He's been a closer, he's been a setup man, and a big part of those World Series rings. Sergio Romo, and head coach at Colorado Mesa, Chris Hanks. When we return, we are Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, trusted to protect young athletes one arm at a time. For more information, go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, the website partners page. Click on Kinetic Arm to start protecting your player's arm today.
You're killing me, Smalls.
The king of crash. The colossus of clout. The colossus of clout.
Babe Ruth! The Great Bambino!
We're at the Sandlot Baseball Camp in Smyrna Beach, Florida. And we love baseball. And we listen to the Sandlot.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If you know me, it's probably from a fantastic TV show called Dirty Jobs. If you don't worry about it. The important thing is I'm in the Sandlot with Tad. And if you think it's dirty in here, well, you're right.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
That sound. It happens every season. The base runner hesitates, a bad slide, a twisted ankle. The truth is, most kids are never actually taught how to slide safely. Slide MVP changes that. It's the portable sliding mat designed to teach proper feet-first technique so players build confidence before game day. No guesswork, no fear, just confidence when it counts. Train at home, train at practice, train the right way. Visit the SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners page for SlideMVP.com. Slide MVP, because one bad slide shouldn't change everything.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hi, everybody. This is Rick Mundy, former Major League player, former All-Star, and now broadcaster with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're tuned in exactly where you need to be. It's Sandlot, and it's baseball.
Talking baseball, the man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque. Especially
Shohei Mookie and the Judge.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on kvta.com. The Sandlot is presented by our trusted protector of young athletes, the Kinetic Arm. Right now we have MLB All-Star Sergio Romo and Coach Chris Hanks from Colorado Mesa University. We're with a very unlikely pair. These guys have known each other for a long time. I've known one of them for a really long time, just met the other. Very excited to have the two of them. One of them is a former professional player who ended up going into coaching and has been doing it now for 28 years as a head coach. He's won over 1,164 games. 1,164 games, Sergio. 15-time RMAC Coach of the Year. He's taken his team 23 times into the NCAA tournament, and he's won that RMAC conference 21 times. So we're talking about a coach that has some accolades himself, but he was a pretty good player, came from a small town in Colorado where nobody comes out to play baseball, but he was really good. Southern Idaho, hit home runs, got drafted by the Boston Red Sox, had to turn down the holiday crew over at Oklahoma State because he decided he's going to go sign and play pro ball. Then he becomes an assistant at Mesa State back then. Now it's Colorado Mesa University. He's been there for 32 years, Sergio, and you were fortunate enough to spend time with him. And I saw this thing that said, Coach Skip didn't actually change my game. He changed my trajectory. And that to me was one of the coolest things I'd ever heard a player say. So we got the coach, but then we got the player. And the player is a guy that grew up in also a small town, but in California. And I know for a fact that it's a rough part of the country. So you had to be a tough kid just to grow up there. And you had a grandpa and a dad that both loved the game of baseball, and you guys were Dodger fans. That's setting it up. But this young man that played in 4 different colleges because he couldn't quite find the right home ends up at Colorado Mesa with the Skip. And from there, he decides that he's going to, with that chip on the shoulder that he had, go on and charge the minor leagues, get to the big leagues, go on and win 3 World Series championships, not to mention being an all-star, not to mention having numbers that are outstanding for his career. And he just retired a couple of years ago. He was playing in 2022. We have Sergio Romo, and we have Coach Chris Hanks. And I'm so pleased to have the two of you together and being able to tell this amazing story. So again, thanks to Sergio and Coach Hanks for being a guest on the Sandlot.
That's what's up. Thanks for having us. Happy to be here.
So we got to start with Sandlot days because Sergio grows up in Southern California, Southern California, about as deep as Southern California as you can get. And Mr. Mountain Guy up there, he's growing up in a part of the country where most of the year it's pretty cold. You can play baseball about 5 months of the year, and that where he figured out how to become pretty good at it. So, Serge, let's start with your Sandlot days growing up in Brawley, and Grandpa and Dad influencing you, and they loved the game, so they were showing you things at a young age that were going to benefit you. Talk about the Sandlot days.
Oh, Sandlot days. Well, for me, Sandlot days basically started chasing my dad around. I was about 3 or 4 years old, and my dad was like, hey, whenever you learn to use the bathroom and, clean yourself, you can go to my games with me on the weekend. Since when you say super Southern California, like Southern California, I'm talking like 20 minutes north of the border, the Mexican border of Baja California, Mexicali, right? So my dad would go play there on the weekends. And once I learned how to, clean myself, I was able to go watch him play. And my grandpa would go, my dad's dad would go. And that's kind of where my love and infatuation for baseball grew and came from. Being able to watch my dad, who's still my hero to this day. Non-biased opinion over here. My dad is still the best amateur baseball player I've ever seen. I just saw him play so many games, do so many cool things, and from running, stealing bases, from hitting home runs to throwing, in my opinion, 100 miles an hour from the left side of the diamond. That was my dad. But then a lot of backyard baseball, a lot of playing catch with my dad in the backyards, a lot of playing catch with my dad, and in front of my grandpa, my dad's dad. They had a dirt lot. In Spanish, call it a bandillo, right? It was across the street from my grandpa's house. And every time we went over there, take the glove, take a wiffle ball, take a wiffle bat or something, playing some kind of baseball, doing something on that dirt lot. And my dad also built us a dirt mound, a pitcher's mound in the backyard that my grandpa would watch us throw off of as well. Just perfect amount of distance in the backyard. Not the biggest of yards, but perfect amount of distance, at an angle, corner to corner, able to work on stuff there, just play catch with my dad. It's kind of funny that I just remember this, talking of the backyard. I think I was about 7 years old. My dad gave me my first black eye ever. He used to toss the ball up in the air as high as he could in the backyard, and I'd get underneath it and catch it. And one of them, I didn't catch it, or actually I caught it, but just with my eye, and had a black eye. I remember that. Just a lot of backyard days just like that, playing catch with my dad. A lot of that summer days were, hey, we don't have practice until the afternoon. All right, let's go practice in the morning. Let's a lot of playing catch with my dad. The cool part about all of this, I was known in the big leagues throughout my career. I've always known for the slider that I had. Well, my dad's dad was the one, my Tata Romo, my Tata Evaristo. He's the one that taught me the grip that I throw it with my whole career. He was the one that kind of told me his concepts and the mindset and what he would do when he pitched, and he used that same grip as he was a pitcher as well. Baseball runs in the blood in my family. If you don't play baseball, you're probably not a Romo. Yeah, that's basically the truth about it all. Even my nieces, my nephews, everybody, my sons, everybody. My mom even played softball. Like, my sister played softball. Like, if you're not a Romo, you're not a Romo if you don't play baseball. But yeah, my grandpa was the one that taught me my slider in a dirt lot across the street. It's kind of funny because I didn't learn that until my senior year in college, when I went to go play for Skip. And first semester, I had fall ball. I had done well. It's just pretty inconsistent breaking ball with the thin air. It's the first time I'd played in thin air and altitude. So I went home for Christmas break. I threw a bullpen in front of my grandpa to my dad. And when I got to throwing the breaking ball, I said, "Hey, Dad, it doesn't do that over there." And my grandpa was like, "Here, let me see what you got." And I showed him what I would do with it. And he taught me his, and I never looked back. Paid a lot of bills with that thing. So thanks, Papa.
they call it a dotless slider, and if it doesn't have a dot, then they don't know it's a slider. And the beautiful thing about that arm angle, you can throw the two-seamer, run it in, and then if you get the fingers and thumb around the side of the ball and make it, it's like pulling it from third to first. And if you can do that, all of a sudden they don't know, because they don't see the dot.
And then the cool part about that is, out of all those experiences playing catch with my dad and especially in front of my grandpa and practicing the things that they were teaching me, then I got to the big leagues with that. The cool part about that is that when I got to big leagues, there's Mark Gardner and Dave Rigetti that were, they played a long time in the big leagues too, and very informative coaches of mine. But they made me realize that I knew I can manipulate my breaking ball, the movement of the breaking ball. So yes, I lived about at least 60% breaking balls my whole career, sliders, but you could sit slider, but for me it was more like which one, because the whole point in me and what I was trying to do on the mound, I was just trying to trick you. I was just trying to take those heavy hitters, those power hitters, trying to take their legs out. How do I get their legs out? Well, I get them off balance. I tricked them, everything's relevant. If they're looking for my slider, okay, cool. 85 looks a lot harder than 85. It jumps on them like more in the 90s. But once I started to manipulate the breaking ball, I had a big, what they call the sweeper now, but I had a shorter, harder slider, which was, for me, it was just a slower cutter. And then I had a breaking ball that went down. Same grip, just different wrist actions, and something that my grandpa had taught me. And Rigetti and Gardner had made me realize that I could do these things on purpose, So, yeah, it kind of tricked him for as long as I could. Got 15 seasons in the big leagues, 18 professionally, and did some really cool stuff when I went back to Colorado Mesa my senior year, the second semester. Once my grandpa taught me that breaking ball, I did some really cool stuff there, but had a lot of fun. Found a home. College took me a while, but man, what a ride.
Thanks to Sergio Romo and Chris Hanks. Don't go away. We have more stories from these two when we return. I'm your host, Tad Powers. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Why wait to start protecting your player's arm? Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com for partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hi, I'm Justin Robleski, and I listen to The Sandlot.
This is Alex Vesia, two-time champion, left-hand pitcher in the bullpen, and I listen to The Sandlot.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
That sound. It happens every season. The base runner hesitates, a bad slide, a twisted ankle. The truth is, most kids are never actually taught how to slide safely. Slide MVP changes that. It's the portable sliding mat designed to teach proper feet-first technique so players build confidence before game day. No guesswork, no fear, just confidence when it counts. Train at home, train at practice, train the right way. Visit the SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners page for SlideMVP.com. Slide MVP, because one bad slide shouldn't change everything. You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hey everybody, this is Trevor Hoffman, a Hall of Famer and a San Diego Padre, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome back to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays, right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, also streamed live at kvta.com. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Right now we have more from a college baseball coach and his most accomplished player, Chris Hanks and Sergio Romo. Well, a cool thing for Skipper there, Sergio, is that he grew up in Colorado. He goes to JUCO in Idaho. He makes it to the Junior College World Series in Grand Junction. And I got to say, I went to JUCO and I got to spend time in Grand Junction. I went to Grand Junction Central my sophomore year in high school. So it was a dream of mine to go to the JUCO World Series. We didn't even sniff it. So when Coach got to go to that event, and then later on he ends up coaching there in Grand Junction, talking about a dream come true, Sergio. Just like you have dreams that have come true, so did Coach, because he really lived out a dream right there in the state of Colorado.
He really did, and that was a goal of mine as well. When I played junior college baseball as well, we never came close to making it either, but that was the ultimate place, and that's how I knew about Grand Junction, first and foremost, and then getting the opportunity to go and play there. Kind of fun tidbit, I found out that Skip tried to recruit me out of Arizona Western my sophomore year, and I guess there was a coach of mine that was like, hey, this kid might go D1. Well, I definitely didn't do that. But it took me a roundabout trip to make it to Mesa, but I made it, thankfully. Got to hang out with Coach Hanks, but I got to experience Grand Junction as well. You talk about a home feeling, sentiment. Every time I've been there, even the last time I went, was blessed with a cool event that happened there last year. It's just for me, Grand Junction was a place where I could be myself. I was accepted. It wasn't looked at any different or as an outsider or whatnot. I was just, this is who you are. Wow, you're actually not a bad person. We just want you to be that good person that you're showing us you can be. That's what I got from the people in Grand Junction. That's what I still get from there. But I got my Grand Junction fix, just not junior college time.
Yeah, and I got to tell you that the skipper does a really good job with that with every player. He understands who they are. He finds out who they are, and then he coaches accordingly. He coaches individuals, but he coaches like a manager of a team as well. And I've witnessed it because, Serge, I've had a couple guys go and play for him, including right now. There's a kid, Keegan Landis, is playing for Coach right now.
Well, that was one of the things that I was thankful enough that this year, I was able to recognize Coach Hanks and really tell our story and really express the impact that he's had on not just my career, but my life as well. So you said it right about coaching individuals. He kind of meets you where you're at, and I had taken the roundabout way getting there. It was my senior year without redshirting, 3 years, 3 schools, and then that was my fourth school in 4 years. And the sentiment was always just trying to find a place where I could feel visible, not to the rest of the world, but to myself, where I can see myself, where I can see the worth, that self-worth can grow and continue to maybe, manifest into something greater, right? But here I am thanking Coach Hank still, years later, and not just for him giving me an opportunity to play at his school, to experience Grand Junction, and in Colorado Mesa, but more so for allowing me to be myself, accepting me for who I was, and showing it and giving me a chance to show him how I work, how I competed, how the type of teammate I was, the type of worker I was, that type of stuff. Like I just wanted a place to be myself. I just wanted to be me, and Skip gave me that. Him and Rogers, and they gave me an opportunity to be myself and to go just play my game. They didn't try to change me. They never told me I wasn't good enough the way I was. They just said, okay, cool. There are places you can improve on. Here's a place you can improve on. Here's another place. Here's another way. And that type of stuff. So I was able to not just compete for a spot, but I can compete with myself and seeing how much I could improve, how much better I could get. How much am I going to really help this team win? How am I going to help this team? Like, what's my role on this ball club? And when I was able to find that, you talk about just taking off running and not looking back, more looking to the side, because as much as I took off running, Skip's right there next to me. I'm like, hey, I didn't have to look back to tell him things. I just looked to the side, and he was right there along for the ride as well. Especially him making a promise that he made me as well. Said when I got drafted and I made it to the big leagues, he'd be there in my debut. Well, I made him go all the way to Cleveland for that. And he did. So I made him go clear across the country pretty much. But he was there, that type of stuff. And I'll never forget it, more so for the fact that I didn't do it any other way but my way, the way I do it, the way I did things, the way I worked, competed, and whatnot. And he accepted that. This is who you are, this is what you got, and this is how you go about showing that. Yeah, all right, cool. It's good enough for me. Let's go. And we've taken off together. And I mentioned earlier, he's done that for quite a few guys. Bly Madris, Kyle Leahy, Andrew Morris. I mean, he don't just got one guy in the league. He's had quite a few, So it's impressive to see what Skip's done and what Mesa's been able to put forth year in, year out.
Well, and let's face it, Sergio, those guys you mentioned and yourself, it really helps boost his program. Once you guys going on and do something special and achieved what you have achieved, it makes it easier for him to recruit. We had Sergio Romo, and Sergio Romo went on and won 3 World Series championships. He's been an all-star. So those are the things that because you were there and you did what you did, he's benefiting long-term from that. So he mentioned Johnny Bench as a kid because he was a catcher. And I got to say, I admired Johnny Bench like crazy when I was a kid. I had this thing from Sports Illustrated. It said the knight in shining armor and it had a picture of Johnny Bench in catcher's gear, and he was the knight in shining armor. I had so much respect for that dude. Who were the guys on the Dodgers and other major leaguers that you were coming up, because you played infield too, so there had to be some guys on the Dodgers other than pitchers. But let's talk about those guys that you admired and tried to be like.
I was bummed out when the Dodgers got rid of Adrian Beltre. When he was their young third baseman, rookie, I was, man, why? He was one of my favorites as a kid. Raul Mondesi was one of my favorites as a kid. But a guy who I looked up tremendous amount to was Rudy Cianez. He's a former big leaguer. He's from Brawley High. To me, he was the ultimate proof that us from Brawley, we can make it. He was proof that it was possible. Granted, I didn't throw 94 to 96 like he did, And he got there a different way than I did, but he was proof that, you know, someone from the Valley can go on and achieve great things. I didn't have to stay in the Valley, to just kind of take what I was given, you know, or, you know, take what was going to be dealt and just kind of accept that. No, like he was proof that it was what I wanted to do with my life. It was possible, but I just couldn't find it in Brawley, you know, and I had to leave the Valley. But him, I mean, he played 22 years professionally, I believe 18 or 19 seasons in the big leagues. He also won a World Series actually played against him in 2008. My first year in the big leagues was his last year in the big leagues. He won a World Series with the Phillies, I believe.
He almost pitched in 4 decades because I played against him in the 80s. He was in the 90s. He was in the 2000s.
See?
He made it to 2009. He was in AAA with the Angels. He was knocking on the door to be a guy that pitched in 4 decades right out of Brawley. Yeah. So I know Rudy well.
And he's just proof, you know, and he's a good friend of mine and my dad's, of course. It was just proof that we can make it. So Rudy Cianez, Raul Mondesi, Adrian Beltre. I was a big Greg Maddux fan too, because when I started to realize who Greg Maddux was, he didn't throw in the mid-90s like he did when he was younger. He threw in the mid-80s. So I kind of also thought, hey, man, well, if this guy can do it in the big leagues, like, hey, I can do it too. And you know what's kind of funny? I can't throw a ball straight either, just like him. So, I had a couple of good examples there that I really looked up to, more so for the fact that 2 of them played on my favorite team. One of them was from my hometown. And, well, actually, they all played for my favorite team. Maddox, Rudy. Yeah, they all played anywho, but they all played for my favorite team. It's just one was proof that I can do it. One, you know, is from back home, and he's proof that it's possible. The other one was proof that didn't matter how hard you throw. You can hit your spots, make it locate, make the ball dance a little bit. You could compete too. So, I had some pretty good examples ahead of me. They kind of just did. They were similar players outside of Rudy, who threw 95.
I hope you're enjoying the stories from these two. We have more from Coach Hanks and Sergio Romo when we return. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, the Ventura Sports Talk Station. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, partners page, click on Kinetic Arm, and start protecting your player's future now.
Hey, everybody. Drew Goodman from the Colorado Rockies. Anytime you want to hear ball, talk ball, think ball, check out the Sandlot.
Hello, everybody. It's Zach Goodman here, play-by-play broadcaster for the Colorado Rockies on KOA Radio. And you are listening to the Sandlot Radio Network.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today. Whether you're in the batter's box or grinding through a 12-hour shift, your gear matters from the inside out. Introducing Toolshed Premier Compression Underwear. Toolshed is designed for the athlete and worker who demand comfort and durability. Moisture-wicking technology, aero cooling mesh, and a fit that stays put. No chafing, no riding up, just pure performance. Upgrade your base layer today at toolshedusa.com. Use code SandlotRadio10 for 10% off. Toolshed, made in America.
Looking to stand out? At Max Graphics LA, they bring your ideas to life. From custom screen printing and high-quality embroidery to eye-catching signs and banners, they do it all. Outfit your team, promote your business, or create one-of-a-kind personal gear. Whether it's company uniforms, sports league fan swag, or custom designs for any occasion, we've got you covered. Fast, reliable, and made just the way you want it. Call 310-350-3394 or visit maxgraphicsla.com today. Max Graphics LA, where your brand gets noticed. You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on sandlotradionetwork.com, partners, and order your Kinetic Arm today.
It was pretty much decided for me to play baseball when I was born.
The Sandlot's where it all starts, doesn't it?
I wasn't bigger than everybody. I just threw harder.
It doesn't take any talent to hustle.
If you don't pull for the Dodgers, there's a good chance you may not get into heaven.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by the most trusted protector of arms in the industry, the Kinetic Arm. Right now, we have more from three-time World Series champion, and he's an MLB All-Star. His college coach, we have Sergio Romo and Chris Hanks. And Skipper, this is a guy that gets drafted in late rounds, 28th round. And you tell him right away that when you get to the big leagues, I'll be there at that debut. You don't say that to every guy that gets drafted. I'm sure of it, because we have senses about certain players, and you must have had a sense about Sergio that he's going to rise above all this and he's going to figure out a way. Was that what you were thinking when he got drafted in the 28th round? It doesn't matter, he's going to the big leagues.
Yeah. In fact, I'll tell you a true story. As a college coach, you get a lot of calls from scouts, and they come see your guys, but then they want to know about them. They call, what do you think? And every club asked me, what do you think about Romo? And I said, I think you need to draft him. And they said, well, he doesn't throw real hard. I said, doesn't matter. You need to draft him. And I took so many of those calls, I really got tired of it because I didn't feel like I was making any headway with them. And then the national cross-checker for the Giants, Joe Strain, called. And I knew Joe Strain fairly well, Colorado guy. And Joe was at the tail end of those calls. And he said, what do you think? And I said, Joe, I'm going to level with you because I know you. I'm tired of that question. And I said, I know you well enough to tell you, if you don't draft him, I think you're absolutely crazy. And I'm going to think that moving forward that you're crazy. And I said, because this is the deal. And this is exactly what I told him. I said, you draft him and give him a chance. I said, he'll make it to the big leagues in 3 years. And he goes, oh, that's pretty bold. I said, remember I said it. And they drafted him. Sergio, you made it in 3 years, right?
Yeah, I made it in 3 years. Yeah, got drafted.
The funny part was that, and it's actually how it went.
That is exactly how it went. I got drafted in June of 05, and in June of 08, I'm in the big leagues.
Wow, that's pretty quick, too, because a lot of guys have to grind for a lot longer.
Well, yeah, and the other thing was I was sitting in my office on the day that Sergio made the call to me, and he called. I'm sitting in the office, I think it was like 10 in the morning, and Sergio and I talked fairly often, but it was never before noon. I think that in the minor leagues and stuff, guys get those, they stay up late, they sleep late, whatever. That's what I'm guessing. But our talks were always at night. And when that phone rang at 10 in the morning and I saw his number come up on the phone, I knew it had happened. I knew he got the call, and I picked it up. And, of course, he told me, I just got called up. I'm going to Cleveland. I'll be playing tomorrow night. I hung up the phone. I called my wife, and I said, Nikki, find me a flight to Cleveland. Sergio got called up, and she got on, and she got me a ticket, and I was in Cleveland the next night.
Yeah.
Sergio, what was it like for your family when you called home? Because I know what Chris Hanks was feeling when you called him. What was it like for your family when you called and said, hey, guess what, guys? I'm going to the big leagues.
First person I called at that time, I believe it was, I didn't even call my wife at the time first. I called my dad. I just so I got a backstory real quick. I was 11 years old. Skip was talking about watching the game of the week on TV. Okay, how they used to have Wednesday night doubleheaders? All right, Wednesday night doubleheaders. I'm 11 years old. It's the Braves versus the Pirates. Rudy Cianez, we talked about him. He was on the Braves at the time, so we were hoping to watch him pitch. He was a reliever, so we were hoping to watch him pitch. Steve Avery was on the mound for the Braves. I don't know why I remember all these details so crazy, but my dad had rotator cuff surgery. And it was the first time I recall seeing my dad cry. And I remember he was on that mobility machine where the arm was going up and down. And I was kind of like, Dad, what's wrong? And he's like, I'm afraid. He's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to play baseball again. And he loves baseball. So I was like, man, all right. So about an inning or two goes on. I kind of look back at him and say, hey, Dad, don't worry. Like, one day I'm going to do that. I promise you. One day I'm going to retire you doing what you love to do most. My dad's dreams were to go to college, be a Major League Baseball player, be some kind of coach or counselor. Check. I've checked all those boxes, but the promise that I made my dad that day, that was the big reason why. It was a big motivator for me. That was part of the chip on my shoulder. It was part of the ambition, the drive, the want, the desire was stemmed a lot from that dream or that promise I made my dad. Well, I never forgot that promise. So when I got to the big leagues, I called my dad, "Hey, Dad, I made it." And he's like, "What?" And I got called up. And he goes, "Man, you told me. You did tell me you were going to get there." So that's part of that, right? Well, then you fast forward all the way to 12, and I get asked to close the World Series out in 12. Well, I got that out and checked that box off.
3 saves.
And
3 saves out of the 4.
my dad was the first person I called, and I didn't even have to tell him I told you so. He told me, he goes, "Neil, you told me you were going to do all this. Like, you told me." And I was like, "I promised you. I didn't tell you. I promised you. I promised you I was going to work for this." Okay, now you fast forward to April of 2018. I get a phone call from my dad. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, what's up, man?" He's like, "Hey, Neil, I submitted the paper." And I kind of was like, instantly started crying, didn't say anything. It was like, wow. April of 2018, that promise was fully completed. That I made my dad. So to answer your question of what was it like when I got called up, it was an "I told you so" moment for me and my dad, because I had promised my dad a long time ago that I was going to do something crazy for him, and he kind of was like, yeah, I believe you, but I love you, thank you for, but it's going to be tough, right? You didn't know if it was possible. I didn't know if it was possible, but I promised them that I'd do it. So I had to do it, right? And I was blessed with the opportunity, some help along the way. But to answer your question, it was an "I told you so" moment for me and my dad and my family. I told you guys. I told you I told you I wanted it. I told you I was going to strive. I told you I was going to work. I told you I was going to persevere. And I told you I'd be the one standing at the end, and here I am. So proud of myself for that.
Hey, forgive me for tearing up, but man, that is an awesome story. And I'm an emotional guy, and when I hear something like that, it's hard for me to hold back. But think about San Francisco Giants. You got your time with your favorite team, the Dodgers, for a brief period of time. What was that like, just to be on the Dodgers and the whole family coming up to Dodger Stadium to watch?
So the cool part about anything Dodger Stadium has nothing to do with necessarily when I played. That was awesome, because part of the childhood dream was to play at Dodger Stadium and have Vince Scully say my name. Just one time. I just wanted Vince Scully to say my name. And he did that for 9 years as a rival, though. But one of my most memorable days at Dodger Stadium had none. I wasn't even a Dodger, and I wasn't even a fan of it. I was a Giant. So in 2008, I debut. We go to Dodger Stadium for the first time in August, or at least the first time that I got a chance to go. And I had about 30-something family members there. Game ends. We played. We did well. Game ends. The family section, they're all waiting for me still. All 30 plus. I go up there. Bochy had already been up there. "Hi, what's up? Hey, Bochy, it's my dad." And I introduced Bochy to my family. The next day, I get called into the office. And I was like, I'd never been called in the office. I just got sent down. Dang. And he calls the door. He goes, "You have 3 options left. And the last time that I remember leaving tickets for my family or friends, and they were all wearing the opposing team's colors and gear, I didn't leave them tickets anymore." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "It'd be a shame if you had to use one of those options because your family couldn't support the team that you were on." And I was like, "What the heck?" Oh, light bulb. Light bulb turns on. Man, he just told me I'm about to get sent down if my family shows up in Dodgers gear again, because I had 30 plus family members in Dodgers gear, and I'm on the Giants, and they're there with me, and I left them tickets, right? So I get a phone call, right? "Hey, Dad, nobody wearing blue today, please. Gray, black, orange, yellow, green, lavender, anything but blue. Doesn't matter." Why? I was like, because I just got told I got 3 options left, and they're willing to use them. Wow. So that's one of my more memorable stories about Dodger Stadium. It had nothing to do with actually playing.
Thanks for listening to the 11th Sandlot Radio Network program of the 2026 baseball season. We'll continue to bring you unique childhood stories from the biggest names in baseball, including current, former, and future Major League players, coaches, scouts, front office personnel, and even media as they reflect on their road to the big leagues. Remember, you can catch replays of this year's and past season's episodes of the Sandlot Radio Show on the Sandlot Radio Show SoundCloud page and also on Simplecast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for video content with the MLB players. We also have links to our YouTube, Spotify, and SiriusXM Radio MLB network, and all of the other major podcast platforms, including Rumble. Please explore the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website to check out reels and images from our long history of covering everything from the Sandlot to the big leagues. If you're interested in advertising your business on the Sandlot Radio Show, give us a call at 303-350-0655 or send a message through the website, SandlotRadioNetwork.com. I want to thank all of our guests today on the Sandlot. We had from Colorado Mesa University, the head coach. He's been there for 28 years and he's had over 1,100 wins in his coaching career. Chris Hanks, plus MLB All-Star and 3-time World Series champion, and Coach Hanks' most achieved and accomplished player, Sergio Romo. Be sure to tune in every Saturday at 8 a.m. on Fox Sports Radio 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on kvta.com. The Sandlot has been presented by the Kinetic Arm. To purchase and start protecting your athlete today, go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click on the Kinetic Arm on the Partners page. The Sandlot is also sponsored by Slide MVP, Champ Trove, Tool Shed, South Bay Credit Union, Fairway Underwriters, Max Graphics LA, Insight Performance Group, and Pro Slide. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. I'm your host, Tad Powers.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter? For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
It's Derek Jeter, New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Is this heaven?
It's Iowa. Is there a heaven?
Oh, yeah. It's the place dreams come true.
Hey, Dad? You want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
The difference between safe and out is inches. And the difference between hesitation and going all out, confidence. But confidence disappears fast when you're worried about cuts and scrapes. Introducing Pro Slide. Padded compression sleeves for legs and arms, protecting knees, shins, and elbows so you can play all out. Stay in the game with Pro Slide. Get yours today by visiting the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website. Visit Partners, then Pro Slide. Pro Slide Sports. Play hard, stay protected.
When you run a sports facility, tournament, camp, or recreation business, you need more than insurance. You need coverage built for the game. For over 35 years, Fairway Underwriters has specialized in protecting sports and recreation organizations nationwide, from baseball and softball facilities to camps, leagues, tournaments, golf courses, fitness centers, and special events. Because when the unexpected happens, experience matters. Fairway Underwriters, the name trusted for quality and innovation since 1989. Call 1-800-662-2141 or visit fairwayunderwriters.com today. Fairway Underwriters, protection built for sports.
Running a business is hard enough. Growing one is even harder. That's where Insight Performance Group comes in. They help businesses streamline operations, improve marketing, strengthen sales systems, and create processes that drive growth. Instead of spending all of your time putting out fires, Insight helps you build a more efficient, scalable business. If you're ready to work smarter, grow faster, and get more out of your business, schedule a free consultation by going to SandlotRadioNetwork.com website partners page. Click on the logo for Insight Performance Group to begin growing your business today.
With so many banking options out there, why choose South Bay Credit Union? As a nonprofit credit union, they're here to serve you, not shareholders. That means they're able to provide better rates, fewer fees, and more valuable benefits to empower their members to live better and do better. You want to master your money? South Bay Credit Union puts you in control of your money with everyday banking solutions. From checking accounts to home mortgages, credit cards to auto loans, their members have access to the tools they need to achieve their financial goals now and in the future.
You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.